So self-awareness comes from a place of really looking at what we're doing and why we're doing it, right?
Right.
So like when I was single in my 20s, like, you know, a lot of my friends were like, let's go to the club, right? Let's go to the club. And I hated clubs. Like whatever game I've got is not based on me being very good looking, even though actually I am a pretty good dancer. But like whatever game I have is based on me being clever and witty and, charming in that sort of socially offbeat way. None of that shit works at the club because you're trying to give like a pithy one-liner and it's boom, boom, boom. Like, I mean, you can't hear yourself. So I would like, but being single, thinking that's where the girls are at these clubs. So I would go to them, strike out all night, leave feeling miserable. Like, cool, I just spent $200 to get shot down for 3 hours. Yay! And so,
Right.
like, I started intentionally, like, my friends would go to the club. I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to go to the sports bar, or I'm going to have a house party, or I'm going to do some other sort of thing. And none of those things were like the slam dunk, oh, here's where I'm going to find a girlfriend. But I found that every time I went to those, even if I didn't leave with somebody's phone number, I had a better time, right? So giving myself permission to do the things that worked for me, Matt, as a guy in his 20s, was like part of like getting that unstuck because you're not being slavish to what society tells you to do. And like even now, I'm 41, I've got a wife and two kids. In our house, like I do all the cooking, I do all the grocery shopping, I do all the laundry, I do a lot of the cleaning. My wife does all the construction. Like when we get like deliveries and like, oh, it's a power drill and a new bakeware set. I was like, I will take the bakeware, thank you very much. Right?
Mm.
And my wife's like, power drill, let's go. Right? And it's the sort of thing like early in our relationship, we realized like she wasn't happy cooking dinner. I hated fixing things. She loved fixing things, and I enjoy being in the kitchen. So, like, why not be the version of you that feels better in your soul, that's aligned with your values, right? But a lot of that stuckness we feel is like, well, I'm not allowed to do this because of who I am.
Right.
To which I say, well, if the only person who's telling you to do that, or the only person that tells you you can't do that is giant air quotes society, I can find you an example of somebody who's living that life, and I guarantee you they're happier than you are, right? A lot of stuckness is wanting joy, but being afraid of the cost it would take you to get that joy. And the fear keeps us stuck.
I think that, like I said, and even with everything about stagnation and being stuck in those three prisons, like I never looked at it that way, and a lot of the issue with the three prisons, as you mentioned, and recognizing self-awareness and being stuck, it's all about people pleasing to an extent. Because if one question I've heard before is, what could you do with your life right now that will make you just happy and you wouldn't have to worry about finances, you wouldn't have to worry about time, you wouldn't have to worry about what people thought about you? People's lives would probably look drastically different.
Yeah.
So, all right, good stuff. Now let's go to the next segment. This is where we get a little more spicy, and this is the I challenge that section. And
Yes.
in this section, we challenge kind of what's going on. Now, before we get into that, I have to ask you. So, obviously, you've been work with neurodivergence. You've grown up how you've grown up. You talked about the things that have happened, the little pitfalls in life that are all needed, especially for a man. So, as a speaker and a psychologist, how has your experience with your mental health in general, like just your whole mental health, mental illness, any of that, influenced your approach with helping others?
Oh man. So I really think that a lot of people are suffering in silence, right?
Mhm.
And there's a lot of societal stuff around mental illness, right? There's mental illness